Good evening. God bless you. Thank you for coming, all you that are new and on the broadcast, and all my heart friends here and in cyberspace, on YouTube, Facebook, and the Temple of Clarity, as we are triple casting this live stream around the world through the new technology that has come available really within the last year or so, and became a reasonable price for me to purchase and do it. Quite a joy to be able to get what happens here out into the world and the teachings of the Ascended Masters. Today is July 25th, no, 22nd, 23rd. Third time's the charm. 2, 3, so that's a 5. July is a 7 and 19. What is that number? Does anybody study numerology? These numbers, in the mathematical mind of God, everything matters. Everything is some calculation, something that creates atoms, electrons, light, energy. And there's something holy about math that I've discovered, something so clear about math that when we tap into it, there is what they call the geometry of divinity, G-O-D. And in these shapes and in these structures, the Divine Mother stores energy, stores light, stores Shakti, so that her children can absorb these frequencies and understandings. It's a beautiful thing, and we live in the womb of the Divine Mother. And we can see the stars, and we can see that there are these shapes that are prearranged by the mind of God, by the consciousness that rests outside time and space. It's something to be meditated on. It's something that is revealed to us individually when we sit with the Divine Mother. And she explains the how, the why of it all. I don't know why I'm talking about that, but that's what I was guided to say. Let us go into the meditation and see what she will say to us. Please stand with me. Marcos, do you mind lighting the candle? My holy brother. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, we, your sons and daughters, come to sit at your feet, to hear your song, Feel your love. Know your presence. Learn. And understand our role in creation. Our role in bringing this golden age to this planet. Our role in healing the sick. Blessing and healing Mother Earth and all life. In the name of the Christ, I open the portal. I open the door between heaven and earth. I call to all the angels of love and light, all the masters, all the Buddhas, all the Bodhisattvas. I call to you, beloved Lady Clarity, Lady Christine, beloved Guru Ma and Lanello, beloved Sanat Kumara, and all the Venusians, to fill this room with your holy presence. May each one feel the fire of God, the electricity rising in divine glory in their hearts, their minds, their bodies, their souls. And all that they are, may they know God. May they feel this love. For those of you that are new, this is a stillness meditation. We will create a bubble of absolute stillness in this room. Co-create together. And when the body is still, the mind becomes still. The soul becomes still. And the Spirit of the living God indwelling is seen in the spiritual eye. Stillness is the key. Love opens the door. Your will is how you move through the door. Yogananda said, you must have a will of a Bengali tiger, fierce and determined in your purpose to break through the darkness, to see the eye of God, to go beyond wherever you have gone before. And then listen. Listen very closely. Stay very present as the masters and the angels come through this portal. Open. We have opened the door. Gently find your breath. And allow your lungs to fill and inhale and exhale. And notice that there is a change in the air around you. Rarefied air of the angels. Spiritualized by your divine connection. The very atoms of this air is alive and singing and conscious. And breathe that air in. This air has new divine qualities infused by your God presence, infused by this meditation. As you stay tethered to spirit, to source, move your consciousness beyond this room. It gives new life, new hope, new understandings to a world. And that is why we are here. That is why we choose to be. And when you're ready, come back. Temple of Clarity is located in Vista, California, San Diego, for those of you who don't know where it is, those of you online. We are part of the Heart Center movement, a group of light workers who come to emanate the light, generate the light, hold the light through our sacred practices of meditation, affirmations, rhythmic prayer or dynamic decrees through the science of the spoken word. Through sacred dance, in all the modalities that bring us closer to God, that generate love, peace, and harmony. The Heart Center movement, you can go to their website and you can see that there are a lot of beautiful teachings there, a lot of light workers. It's a fun group. We also go on these pilgrimages to sacred sites like Machu Picchu, India, Egypt, to the pyramids, all the places, all the sacred places. We go there and we anchor the light. And we bless the country that we go to and the people therein to start this motor and continue this movement of the age of Aquarius. The ball is rolling, and the age of the Divine Mother is here. And we can see these structures, man-made structures and governments and religions tumbling down as they were built on false ideas, on the ego and dominance. And the new structure of the new age of Aquarius, of freedom, of Aquarian love, and inclusiveness, and a brotherhood and sisterhood is coming all around the world. And we're helping with that. And we chose to help with that even before we came here. The masters, the rishis, the perfected ones, the perfected souls who are our elder brothers and sisters on the path, like Saint Germain, like Jesus, Sanakumara, Divine Director, El Morya, and Kuthumi. They teach us how to hone our skills, how to perfect our way of emanating light. How to get past our own human psychology. Anything that inhibits us from growing spiritually. They illumine and enlighten us on many, many topics, including health. physical health, spiritual health, emotional health, mental health. How to get beyond the mind, for example. Master Kuthumi, he is like the divine psychologist, and his messages, if you listen to them, you get a sense of his personality, his loving kindness, really Buddhic nature. And he speaks about divine wholeness, body, mind, and soul. And sometimes we have a blind spot. We don't see that we are leaking somewhere in our chakras. We're not holding the light of the Divine Mother the best that we can. And these masters, in their messages, always have coping skills, a way of dealing with the situation that we're in these body minds that we have been given, oftentimes been tampered with on the DNA level even. How to get beyond that and change your DNA. So the teachings of the Ascended Masters are for a purpose, and that is for growth and progressive revelation, as we are constantly learning new things about the Divine Mother. About our current situation. About going beyond, even deeper. All that was written thousands and thousands of years ago still apply at some level, but have been transcended by new revelations, a new, like in Jesus' time, they called it the gospel, which means the good news. But there is this good news that is continually pouring forth from heaven. This new gospels, this Aquarian age, this age of Aquarius gospel, is continually pouring out from the Masters through many sources, through the Holy Spirit and the Divine Mother, because we are in accelerated times. So, David Christopher Lewis, friend of mine, teacher, also, I get inspiration. The person I look to, primarily David and Amma and all the Divine Mothers. His connection has with Mother Mary, he's had over 1,000 messages, almost like Metrogoria, almost something so fresh and something so clear is coming through. And these messages are transcendent. I encourage you to check at least weekly the Heart Center website for these new messages, for new inspirations and new insights. So we agreed that today's the 23rd. I got it on my third guess. Let's see what the inspiration for today is. This is Light on the Path, Inspiration for Each Day of the Year by David Christopher Lewis. There are many platitudes about what love is, yet when you experience God love in its fullness, in its richness and its essence, all human experience of love melts away, or is subsumed into a higher form of love, which is then infused within all expressions of love, human and otherwise. Elemental life can teach you the impersonal nature of love as it moves through the stream of awareness within the grandiose and the sublime, the simple and the cosmic. Love, as a virtue, is known in many realms, and yet is experienced and may be felt most personally through the touch of the divine within the framework of the fabric of your beingness. The Word as the living Logos, the Christos, the Krishnos, is love embodied in form, thought, and expression. And when you learn the use of love through compassionate communication, through conscious language, your speech and patterns and the patterns of light that flow through the vibration of your voice may emanate the frequency of love. And that which you speak can create as God creates. July 23rd. There are these classes. The Heart Center offers many courses and seminars. One of them is on compassionate language and communication. And I bought the book Conscious Language. I looked at it and I just fell in love with that book. It was written by a Saint Germain student, and I was so amazed about how much is written about in the Bible, and especially in the Old Testament, about the Word. The Word. And compassionate communication, if we are to be masters, we don't react. Like, we don't, when someone speaks ill of us, we don't have to react. We can turn it around into a learning experience for the soul that is possibly reflecting back something onto us that was his problem or her problem. And like little children in life, the parents come out, the little child is angry and is yelling, and is blaming the parent for this and that. But with the softness and with love in our voice, we gently communicate to them. there are these buttons that most of us have, and they can be pushed sometimes, and we want to react. But to master our worlds, to master our minds and our bodies, we have to be vigilant and be centered in harmony and in peace, the masters say, because they infuse so much living light in us, divine light in us. And if we fall into that trap of anger and release that energy into time and space, all the light that we have garnered is now accessible through our voice, and we could release a nuclear bomb of sorts through our voice at some person, which could severely harm them. There's a story that Mark Prophet gives about this very advanced initiate of the Great White Brotherhood, this little old lady. And she was in the department store, and it was hot out, and she was having a bad day, and for some reason her button got pushed, and she yelled out in that department store, and people thought a bomb went off. There was so much power from all of her years of praying and meditating had now this released as a negative burst of anger that went out into time and space. And that is how we create karma. Negative karma. I remember a teaching where Elizabeth Clare Prophet gave. She said, some people could lose, I forget the number, 10, 20, 30% in one riptide, one explosion of anger. So do we suppress anger? No, we convert it through illumination and knowing through the wisdom of the Divine Mother that whatever is occurring, whoever bumped into your car or cut you off on the freeway, we must gently set the high example, communicate lovingly with compassion, and that is how we change the world. And that is how we remove this road rage mentality that's not only on the freeways, but you see it in the school grounds, you see it in the business world, where people are raging with this anger. And they have not learned to master their emotional bodies, or their mental bodies, or their physical bodies. So that's my take on the inspiration for the day. If anybody has anything they'd like to add to that, or any example, maybe you, Lisa. You took the course, right? Aha, I have someone on the hook. I didn't take the class, but you did.
Well, it's been some time ago, but it's the class on conscious language with Robert Tennyson Stevens, and he explains how important each of our words is and how you can create or, create blocks in your future just by the words that you speak, and you can actually craft your consciousness by utilizing positive thoughts, positive language, and definitely no negatives. And redirecting your negatives. Recognizing it, saying, okay, what am I going to do about this? Step over that hole. It's easier said than done. I'll be the first one to admit it, but it's something that everyone should learn. So Robert Tennyson Stevens is the man, and it's not a big book. He actually has a whole bunch of classes that you could take with it. It's quite an extensive thing. However, just even reading a chapter of that book will benefit you. And it's essentially removing all the negatives, not saying no, like no is a block, instead of, and just more consciously saying, recreate that sentence without a no. Say the positive things. Instead of saying, I'm not going to be there, and say, I'm going to be doing something else tonight. You just think about the positive path. Instead of what you're not doing, think about what you are doing and your favorite time, the now. So that's essentially it.
Can you talk about how some other blocks?
Well, I think as you get further along on the path, your lower nature gets nervous because your ego is, all you think you have. You're not your body. We know that, right? No, we're not our body. We're not our mind whirling around. And so who are we? And Eckhart Tolle very clearly tells us we are the silence between the words. We're that stillness. And if you can be in the now, it's being that presence. And what is that presence? A lot of us call it God. But, there's many names for it. Many names for it. And just being in the now, being that presence, and whatever blocks you from being in that now. And it's like worrying about the future. Oh my God, I have to get this thing done. Or fretting about the past. Oh, I did that stupid thing and everybody watched me. Who cares? You know what I mean? Just let it go. Let it go. And Eckhart Tolle tells you the way to handle it is you take your situation, if you're having a bad time, if you're in a bad space about it, you can either accept it or change it. If you don't like what's happening, sit down and think about it. How can I change this to it work for me? And if not, just let it go and accept it and move on. Is essentially The Power of the Now, is that book. It's a great book. Absolutely another spectacular book that will change your life if you haven't read it.
How is no a block, though, in conscious language?
Good question. Well, it's a barrier to movement. Whenever you say no or not or can't, these are all negatives that I would have to read the book. It's only been about 5 years since I saw the class, but essentially those things create barriers in your consciousness that you can't do this. It's like a fear thing. We see it all the time. People are afraid and say, oh, I can't do that. And wait a minute. If we remove that barrier, I can do that. Just try, I can. I think I can. I think I can. I think I can. And take the next step, whatever it is, big or small. Be kind to yourself. Don't push yourself someplace that you don't really want to go. But,
When I was little, I thought my name was No because that's all I ever heard from my mom. So there's a conscious way of doing that, right? And
Yes.
so you replace it with
The positive.
the positive.
When you're typing in an email, instead of saying, I'm not coming to this meeting, you say, I am going to be
Somewhere else.
at the zoo,
So you just-
wherever you're going to
right,
be.
wherever. Okay.
I will be at the zoo this afternoon and unable to attend.
It's a very interesting formula, a very powerful way of speaking. We all catch each other in our conscious language in the Heart Center because it's a very important part of the practice of compassionate speaking, conscious language.
You know, if the people here would like to get a copy of that and have a book study and read it, talk about it. You know, I know we all read books, right? And I read pretty fast, actually. I bzzz through it. And
There must be to use conscious language, raising children must be really next level.
there is a very smart man who is actually a negotiator, and I'm going to think of his name, and that's the compassionate communication. Conscious language is Marshall Rosenberg. Marshall Rosenberg has these really thin little books that tell you, when you're having a problem with someone, you state the problem. When you say no to me, it makes me feel bad. And you express your feelings, how you experience it, without any condemnation. Not saying you've been such a jerk. You don't say we say something different. So you try to just state the facts. The only reason I remember this is because I go with it I have 2 sons. I go through it all the time. Just state the facts. What is going on, how it's affecting you, and the outcome that you desire, which is I would like to be happy after I communicate with you and not feel bad. I don't know if you can do that with your boss, but.
Great. Yeah. I just looked at the book. I didn't take the course, but I think I'd like to take the course. Communication is...
Right. Mary University courses are being reopened as we speak. They are online, they're reasonably priced, and you can do them at your pace. They're at heartcenter.org, and you go click under Mary University classes, and if you want some help, we can look at the website together, because to tell you the truth, I couldn't tell you exactly where to go. However, a lot of this stuff is right there, and you can do it we all have busy lives. Take half an hour here, 15 minutes there while you're having your dinner. Just click on that and listen to it. And they're gems. They are gems. By God's grace, I have taken just about every single class the Heart Center has had to offer since day one. I've been really blessed. And each one of them, it was overshined by an ascended master through David Christopher Lewis, and they're just like healing and golden, beautiful clouds of love, all the people on there, and you hear these wonderful answers to these questions. You go, wow, and it's just a healing experience. Depending on, there's all sorts of wonderful. If you just click on that, any topic you want to.
Lisa, did you teach any classes?
I have not taught any classes. I've done research for classes, but I have left it to the experts.
Okay. Well, we have some watermelon that Ava said. I picked a good one.
And we have
I got
cantaloupe.
a real thumbs up from her. And, I don't get that often. Because she has her own system of picking out watermelons, which I haven't learned yet. And it's... Yeah, she has divine intuition. And anyways,
And
we're
we
going to
have
enjoy some.
and cantaloupe.
And cantaloupe that Lisa brought.
And we have a lot of it. So if you skip dinner, I got plenty.
So Ava was meditating very deeply, I think, and is now just emerging from her meditation chamber. Thank you, everybody on the broadcast. Thank you for joining us. We will be continuing these broadcasts Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Join us if you can. take a look at those Meru universities online if you're interested in some of the Ascended Master topics. God bless you and good night.